In the new chapter of the Dragon Ball Super manga, Gohan's power was finally revealed, showing it to be superior to Goku's and Vegeta's. But hold on, come with me and I'll show you everything. Ever since the Cell Saga, Gohan's hidden potential has always been a feared, admired, and often misunderstood force. No other warrior in Dragon Ball carried as much latent power as he did. But what was once just a spark, contained by his peaceful nature and love for tranquility, eventually grew into something bigger, darker, and more brutal. The beast form isn't simply a transformation, it's the culmination of the power Gohan avoided his entire life. The materialization of fury, instinct, and the responsibility to protect what he loves. The mystic form, unlocked by the Elder Kai, had already shown the world what Gohan could do without even relying on traditional transformations like Super Saiyan. It was the pinnacle of his refined power. No wasted energy, no flaming aura, just pure efficiency. But the beast form is born from something much deeper. It's the evolution of the mystic form when subjected to an uncontrollable emotional surge, when the heart ignites with pain, fear, and love. It's Gohan abandoning all rational restraints. Anger has always been the trigger. When Raditz first appeared, Gohan, still a child, shattered the containment pod and wounded his own uncle with a single blow. When he saw his friends being murdered by Frieza, or when Piccolo was gravely injured, this instinct always awakened. The beast form is the moment when this fury no longer goes back to sleep. It stays awake, hungry, latent in every cell of his body, always on the verge of collapse. Visually, Gohan Beast already conveys this wildness. His spiky, almost savage silver hair and fiery red eyes all indicate that the warrior is no longer in total control. He has become a reflection of his own limit, an entity that merges intellectual genius with primal Saiyan rage. But unlike Goku and Vegeta, who constantly train to master new forms, Gohan simply awakens the transformation when pushed to the extreme. And that's where the true wildness begins to manifest, not in the sense of clinical madness, but in how Gohan loses any trace of hesitation. Logic, ethics, and even control over his own attacks are replaced by an absolute conviction to annihilate the enemy. In the movie Dragon Ball Superhero, we saw the birth of this inner monster when Gohan, believing Piccolo was dead, completely shed his restraints. The scream, the look, the energy, nothing there resembled the gentle Gohan we know. Gohan Beast doesn't speak much when transformed. His actions speak for themselves. There's a cruel coldness in his movements. Unlike Goku with his serene Ultra Instinct or Vegeta with his ruthless yet conscious Ultra Ego, Gohan Beast is almost animalistic. He's not there to prove anything. He's there to destroy. He has become the very personification of the survival instinct combined with the purest potential. This makes him perhaps the most dangerous among the Z fighters. His own allies are scared of him. Piccolo, who knows him better than anyone, fell silent when he first saw the transformation. There was admiration, yes, but also apprehension. Because Gohan Beast isn't stable, it's a double-edged sword. It can be Earth's greatest savior or a cataclysm waiting for a spark. The line between savior and destroyer with Gohan has always been thin, and the beast form completely erases that line. Another proof of the untamed nature of this form is the fact that Gohan seems to forget his own physical limitations. He ignores injuries, ignores strategies, even ignores time. Everything boils down to a single goal: exterminating the threat in front of him. It's as if his own body obeys a new code of conduct, one that doesn't care about consequences, only results. And that, for a being with Gohan's power, is an immeasurable risk. In future battles, especially against threats like Black Frieza or new gods of destruction, this form will play a critical role. But the danger it represents doesn't just come for the enemies, it also comes for Gohan himself. Because the more he uses the beast form, the further he moves away from his humanity, the closer he gets to something that perhaps even he won't be able to stop afterward. There are theories that suggest Gohan Beast might evolve even further, perhaps a divine hybrid form, or perhaps an absolute mastery of instinct and fury. But this would raise a disturbing question. What will remain of Gohan's personality if he completely merges with this beast? The answer may not be comforting. Perhaps he will become the strongest warrior of all time, but lose something fundamental: his compassion, his balance, his inner peace. Gohan Beast is the culmination of what Gohan always feared becoming: a warrior driven by impulses, forged by pain, but at the same time, it is this transformation that allows him to protect what he loves most. And it is precisely this duality that makes him as fascinating as he is tragic. He is not just a hero, he is a living sacrifice, someone who carries a curse in the form of his own limitless potential. While Goku seeks the path of angels and Vegeta the path of gods of destruction, Gohan treads something unique, the path of the monster, but a monster who fights for his own, a monster who out of love has become unhinged. And perhaps in this paradox lies the true spirit of the most complex warrior in the entire Dragon Ball franchise. The comparison between Gohan Beast and Goku and Vegeta's current forms has become one of the most intense debates among Dragon Ball Super fans. After all, we're talking about the three greatest pillars of Universe 7 in terms of strength. However, after the revelation of the Beast form, many began to notice a clear shift in the balance of power. And what was once dominated by Goku and Vegeta now begins to dangerously lean in Gohan's favor. During the Granola Saga, we saw Goku achieve true Ultra Instinct, a more refined version of the angelic state, allowing him to use instinct in harmony with his emotions. At the same time, Vegeta awakened Ultra Ego, a form that increased his power the more damage he took, a clear influence of the energy of destruction taught by Beerus. These forms represented the peak of their combat philosophies. Goku with serenity and absolute instinct, Vegeta with pride and unleashed brutality. And then, Gohan Beast appeared and challenged the entire structure. Compared to Vegeta's Ultra Ego in the Granola Saga, Gohan Beast presents a clear and direct advantage. While Ultra Ego relies on Vegeta taking continuous damage to grow in power, Gohan Beast explodes with colossal force upon awakening, and that force only intensifies the more rage builds within him. What makes this form even more devastating is that Gohan doesn't need to suffer physically to achieve this boost. A mere emotional provocation, a danger to those he loves, is enough for the Beast to awaken with multiplied power. In the theoretical clash between Gohan Beast and Vegeta's Ultra Ego, there's a decisive factor: emotional control. Vegeta still maintains a certain level of consciousness and strategy. Gohan Beast, on the other hand, seems to completely ignore that filter. He surrenders to instinct and fury as a living weapon. This state places him on a more explosive, unpredictable, and consequently more difficult to combat level. Even if Ultra Ego strengthens with pain, the Beast form goes straight for maximum destruction from the start and only escalates from there. When comparing him to Goku's true Ultra Instinct, the analysis is more subtle but still favorable to Gohan. Goku's form requires complex emotional stability. He needs to be calm but also in tune with his feelings. It's a state difficult to maintain in long battles or when provoked. Gohan, with the Beast form, doesn't need stability. In fact, he performs better the more unstable he is. This difference completely changes the pace of combat. Goku needs to maintain focus, Gohan needs to lose control. Both have absurd speeds, superhuman reflexes, and incomparable destructive power. But in terms of raw impact and unleashed energy, Gohan Beast already proves to be more aggressive and imposing. And this does place him above true Ultra Instinct, especially since Gohan is only beginning to explore what this form can do. There has been no systematic training, no celestial mentor, just the pure manifestation of his potential. However, when we put Gohan Beast face to face with Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct, the scenario changes. At this level, Goku completely fuses with instinct, becoming almost untouchable, an entity in constant adaptation and response. He has perfect movement, and even Gohan, with all his strength, still shows traces of impulsiveness that prevent him from completely dominating the field. Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct is more refined, more technical, more controlled, but not necessarily more powerful by nature, just more stable. What's terrifying, however, is the pace at which Gohan evolves. While Goku and Vegeta needed long training sessions with Whis and Beerus, Gohan unlocked his new form out of pure necessity, out of love and desperation. And ever since, each time he is provoked, threatened, or emotionally tested, the Beast form seems to respond with even more power. This means that Gohan Beast is a state of continuous growth, a potential that knows no clear limits. Imagine what will happen if Gohan seriously trains this form, if he decides to understand his emotional triggers, refine his control, or even develop new techniques to complement his brutality. He could surpass even Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct. This is no longer speculation, it's an inevitable progression. Gohan himself stated after fighting Goku that he hadn't used his full strength in the battle. This shows that not even he knows the limits of the beast form. Furthermore, Gohan is the only one of the three who still maintains his pure potential, uninfluenced by divine training or techniques of the gods. He is the ultimate manifestation of mortal power, of the hybrid blood that carries human rationality with Saiyan fury. And this differential might just be what will lead him to surpass his two mentors. While Goku needs serenity and Vegeta needs pain, Gohan just needs a reason. And when he finds that reason, be it his daughter, his wife, his master, or his friends, no divine form can stop him. Gohan Beast is not just a transformation. It is the ultimate expression that strength is born from the most genuine emotion possible, love. Gohan hasn't reached the top yet, but he's very close, and with the growing nature of the beast form, he needs nothing more than time. Time for new conflicts to arise, time for his rage to be challenged again, and time for the warrior who once saved the world from Cell to prove once again that his potential has no limits, no rivals. Soon, it will no longer be a matter of comparison. It will be a realization. Gohan is the strongest in Universe 7, and perhaps in all universes. Gohan Beast not only reignited the debate about who is the most powerful in Universe 7, but also marked Gohan's definitive return to the center of the narrative. For years, he remained a supporting warrior, someone whose strength was remembered with respect but rarely put into action. However, with his new form, Gohan returned with a presence so imposing that not even Goku and Vegeta could ignore it. He is no longer the promising young man, but the adult who finally decided to embrace the role he was destined for since the Cell Saga, that of Earth's supreme protector. With the threat of Black Frieza approaching as the biggest challenge Universe 7 has ever faced, it is inevitable that Gohan will be at the center of this conflict. Frieza has already surpassed the two main Saiyans in his black form, and this demands a new, unpredictable, and devastating force, exactly what Gohan Beast represents. Unlike Goku and Vegeta, whom Frieza has studied and faced countless times, Gohan is an unexplored risk factor. His irrational, growing, and emotional power could be the key to surprising the villain who seems prepared for any combat logic. More than a supporting player, Gohan will be an ace in the hole. And that's something Frieza himself might not be able to calculate. Gohan's new form, unpredictable and constantly ascending, can become the most effective weapon against an enemy who has evolved as methodically as he is cruel. If Black Frieza leveled up with training, Gohan Beast breaks that logic by growing with the heat of the moment, defying any expectation of fixed power. He is the anomaly Frieza cannot predict, and that makes him a real danger. Gohan returned to the spotlight not just with a new transformation, but with a new mindset. He understood that he can no longer stay away from the front lines while threats of Black Frieza's level emerge. And now, with Piccolo by his side, Pan as his new motivation, and Goku's legacy running in his blood, Gohan is walking toward becoming the warrior everyone expected him to be. When the final confrontation against Frieza arrives, Gohan won't just be another ally. He will be the protagonist of the resistance. Let me know what you think about all of this, and don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you all so much for your support, and see you next time.